everybody, it's Mike Young, lifestyle nutritionist with aPlantBasedDiet.org, and welcome back to my book and chapter 146 of Live to 150. We are just kind of winding it down now, and I took a little bit of a mental break between chapter 145 and 146. I've even been to Hawaii and back. It's the first time ever since I did those chapters ending in 145. So 146, this is an important one. These last couple of chapters are going to kind of wrap things up for you. Thank you very much for staying with us because there's so much detail, and I could go on and on. And that's why I had to take a little bit of a mental break here, is because I needed to figure out what I wanted to say here in the last few chapters, because this book could just be never ending. And I am a lifestyle nutritionist, so if at any time you need me, just reach out. And actually, I'm going to give you my phone number here, 240-205-0417, to send me a text. I'll also give it at the end of the last chapter. But this chapter is on BMI, body mass index, and also the hip to waist ratio. And I know that a lot of people out there seem to discount these things. They're like, well, I don't think that's very accurate. I don't know who came up with that. I feel most comfortable here. Like, I feel okay here. But I want to tell you guys that if you've been able to digest the previous chapters up here, the 140 some odd chapters, you realize that this is really specific, okay? It's not just about your feelings. If we just go on someone's feelings, you're not going to get very far. And truly, in this world of negative influences that are on every corner and in every store, you're going to die young is the problem. We don't want you to do that, okay? Or we do want you to die young, but as late as possible. How about that? We want you to have a good time, but we want you to have a quality life, and we want you to have a long life. That's the whole purpose of this book. So let me tell you my opinion here on the body mass index, which is really developed, I think, by the National Institutes of Health, and also the waist to hip circumference and what they mean. They're kind of like these wearables. They did a chapter on wearables, and they really help you to know where you are. It's a good rule of thumb, right? It's a good indicator of where you are. It's not going to be anything specific necessarily. And that's kind of how I view BMI, body mass index. Is go look it up on your favorite search engine online. I believe it was developed by the National Institutes of Health, and that's exactly what it is. It's kind of like a baseline. And I don't care what people say, well, I'm big frame versus little frame and everything else. That's not, longevity doesn't care about that. I have a feeling that if we go on this big frame, little frame, we'll find that most people with big frames probably don't live that long on average. They probably live a lot shorter lives, unfortunately, kind of like people who are athletes, right? Or bodybuilders. They're not known for longevity. They can do something really well for a shorter period of time, but they're not going to last that long. And this book is not really focused on that. And I don't want to advocate those things either. I want to talk about your quality of life for the average Jane, the average Joe person out there. And BMI is very important. You want to make sure you're right in the middle of normal, and just go, if you don't know what that is, you just got to measure your height, get an accurate height. And of course, you change. You're usually shorter at the beginning of the day and taller at the end of the day. So kind of keep that, or actually, I'm sorry, it was the other way around. You're taller at the beginning of the day because there's no compression on you. You've been laying down in almost all cases. You don't sleep standing up like some cows and stuff like that, right? But at the end of the day, you compress. The weight of your body kind of pushes down. And because of that, you're actually shorter at the end of the day. So keep that in mind. If you want to weigh yourself, also, you want to be consistent with that too. You want to weigh yourself at the same time of the day after doing certain things leading up to that or not leading up to that to get consistent measurements. But, you basically just take that as a ratio, and that'll tell you if you're in the normal range or not. And you definitely want to be in the normal range. If you're big boned and you're got a wide frame, then you're going to be near the top of normal. Okay, fine. If you're small boned and you're kind of puny, you'll be near the bottom, but you'll still be in this range that they have there of normal. And there's a reason there's a range there, and it's not just one number. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now the waist to hip circumference, waist and hips are measuring circumference, right? But the ratio is what we're concerned about. Now, if you think about this, this is also a very, very good indicator. And depending upon where you are with these indicators, please go back to the book, to earlier chapters in the book, and look at some of the things that may be applicable to you, because there's so much knowledge in there. There's so much fine tuning you can do in the other chapters. This is not a fine tuning chapter. However, the basic idea here with this ratio is if your waist is the same or greater than your hips, you've got major problems. Okay, you're not going to live very long. The longevity thing is going to be a challenge for you. It really is. This is especially true if you're a woman, because that ratio is actually more off than it is for men. For men, it's kind of close to 1, but again, it's less than 1. So your hips are going to have to be a more of a circumference than your waist. Otherwise, you've got problems. And same with women. If that is not a significantly smaller number, actually, in women, then it's even more of a problem. So keep these in mind. These are do your research. These things change depending upon who you look at, but I'm just giving you a very general rule of thumb, and I want to let you know how important this is. Now, let me know in the comments, what do you think about BMI? What do you think about this hips to waist ratio? Have you ever even heard of that before? Well, I think it's something that you really need to be concerned about if you want to live a long and happy and fun life. You gotta be concerned about these things, and this is not some kind of thing that you can just kind of cast aside and say, oh, everything else is good, even though my BMI is way off. Yeah, I know it says I'm obese, but no, there's a major problem there. Okay, if it says you're obese, it's a major problem. Same with this waist to hip ratio. If your waist is bigger than your hips, the circumference, it's a major problem. Okay, so maybe if you never considered this before, this is a wake-up call for you. All right, I really want to make sure that you do live the best, longest, happiest life you possibly can. And in order to do that, you can't ignore these obvious things that need to be dealt with. So don't live in denial anymore. That's the purpose of this chapter, is to kind of give you the wake-up call here. And again, go back into the past book here and all these other chapters. This course is free. It'll always be free right here on the internet, liveto150.org. Pass it along to friends. And I also want to hear your comments. What do you think about BMI? Where are you in the BMI? Do you have a goal? Put it out there. Just put it out there in the comments. Same with the waist to hip ratio. Let me know about that as well. And of course, subscribe to the channel, like the video, because that really helps us get it out, and share this video. Share this video or the earlier videos, or chapter 42, which deals with the food, which is most of what I'm talking about here. And that's going to make the food is what's going to make the difference between your BMI and your waist to hip ratio. Absolutely. There's nothing else that's going to be any more of a giant impact, positive or negative, than what you choose to put in your mouth, 3 times a day or however many times. So it's Mike signing off for this chapter. I will see you in the next couple of chapters. Excited to get this done because I want to get this out to the world and tell everybody that it is done. And can't wait to check with your feedback here in the comments, and I will definitely get back to you. So please leave me a comment. Tell me anything you want to. I will tell you my BMI is right in the middle of normal. My waist is smaller than my hips. And that's all you need to know. If you can say that too, you're doing great. The rest is just fine tuning, which you definitely need to do. And I'll talk about some more practical ways here in the last couple of chapters as to how you can do that. So we'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye.